And not inappropriate for 2021, to be sure. But welcome. Glad to have you all tonight. Hopefully y'all got to decompress a little bit during our virtual cocktail hour. Uh, Not quite the same as at the banquet hall, but we're trying here. This is Diet Pepsi, but nonetheless. So thank you again. Um, we hope that this will be a nice tribute to the year and some of our triumphs and, yes, some of our losses, as well as a way to acknowledge our changing of the guard on the board, and of course, our Distinguished Service Awards, and then everybody's favorite part, the door prizes. So, without further ado, we'll get to. Pity there's no piano.
I had to learn to share with the audio option clicked on.
Aha. All right. The year that was 2021, the 60th anniversary of the Warren Astronomical Society, our diamond anniversary. We were not able to celebrate it with quite the panache of the 25th or the 50th anniversaries, where we had retrospectives, jubilees, glorious slideshows, and such. Fortunately, all those things still exist, but while it was a quieter anniversary, we can say we are still here. And that's pretty impressive for an amateur astronomy club propelled and led by volunteers for 6 decades. We have a massive accomplishment in that after quite a few years of trying with our fabulous Warren Astronomical Society paper, under editor Dale Teamy, who is also our publications director, we won the Mabel Stearns Award for Best Newsletter for Astronomical type things in the country at the 75th anniversary of the Astronomical League itself. So we have given Dale many deserved kudos, and Dale in turn has acknowledged the parade of fabulous WASP editors whose torch he carries from the 1970s through the present century. But we're the best, and we have proof. So thank you, Dale, and thank you, every publications director who's contributed to the spirit of a most remarkable newsletter, which you can read all the glorious back issues. We also had a lot of losses. Personally, many club members, including my own family, suffered personal losses over the course of this year of COVID. Um, Many losses to the overall astronomical community, including the passing of Sid Keeler. We were talking before the presentation started about the observatory at D-Bar A. Sid was instrumental as being Bob Berger's co-conspirator in that. So that is a grave loss. And we learned just hours before this banquet started of the passing of Gary Flatt, one of our long-term members who was a faithful outreach participant at Astronomy at the Beach back when it was at Kensington Metro Park, and a very kind man whose presence will be missed at these events. Two losses did stand out though. In March 11th, we lost Penny Wayne, a dear friend of mine personally, and of quite a few, close to quite a few of you. Penny stumbled into our club in a way that is not so possible in this age of our virtual meetings, because at times we were double booked with the Michigan Mineralogical Society, of which she was a member, and she liked us and she stayed. And we became friends. She became friends with Dr. Dale Parton as well, and Jonathancade and quite a few others. Penny's job was exhausting and grueling and took her far away from Michigan. She tried to come to WASP meetings whenever she could. They were a highlight of her life. And she always tried to visit the Gem and Fossil Expo in Macomb Community College, in autumn, in the company of me or Jonathan or Dale. And so it was just not quite going to the expo this time with Dale and Marty was fun, but not quite the same. We also lost unexpectedly a former president and vice president of the club, Michael Simonson, aka Fast Mike, aka, in the words of Gary Ross, greatest visual observer in Michigan, who was prominent in the AAVSO for much of this current century, recorded more than 80,000 observations and a luminary of multiple awards, including the Leslie Peltier Award and the Butterworth Award, things that, generally speaking, we amateurs don't get into. And a previous keynote speaker at one of these annual WASP banquets. So very well known in our circle, and it was quite a shock to hear of his passing. And he leaves a very large hole in the visual observing scene. So step up. There are boots to fill and observations to make. Well, we also carried on doing what the WASP does best, or at least most often, providing original content accessible to a large range of amateurs, professionals, aspiring professionals, and people who just think we sound kind of cool and show up. We do 2 meetings per month, generally 3 talks per month, 2 long, 1 short. It is an astonishing amount of original content for any association to generate. We do it year in, year out, and we want to step back and thank our presenters, from Ken Burton, Bob Berta, Gary Ross, former presidents, to the academics that Dr. Dale Parton recruited, more of our current officers, Bob Tremblay, our visiting luminary, Dr. David Levy, up and coming people on the astronomy scene, Ann Blackwell, Gillen Brown, members like Dale Hollenbaugh, who are happy to share their beginner's journey into the astronomical life. We had some really fascinating things like the premiere showing of Luminous with its director Sam Smart, Tony Licata's account of finding pieces of the Hamburg meteor, Matt Dieterich coming to talk to us about plane wave instruments, which is based right here in Michigan. Of course, some returning stalwarts, Jim Shidlowski, Jonathancade, Bob Tremblay again, Bob Berta returning for solar astronomy, a lovely talk with people we don't hear from too often, John Panuto and Tom Krosky. And finally, instead of a great debate, we wrap things up with a panel on anti-science sentiment in America. So it was quite the year. We try to offer history, observing, cosmology, and art. And I think this year, Dr. Dale Parton did the great job in getting a little bit of all of that. So, of course, we are not purely presentations. We are everybody who contributes to the WASP, whether a monthly column, a photograph, a letter to the editor, an observing report, or the officer reports that the officers produce day in, day out. Anybody who contributed to this year's digital presentation of Astronomy at the Beach under the aegis of GLAC, anyone who did outreach on our behalf, and we are returning to outreach, both at our Stargate Observatory under the leadership of Second Vice President Riyad Mahdi, and out in the field and digitally. And those of you who contributed to the calendar, which is now in our possession and will soon be distributed, thanks to Secretary Mark Kedzier. The calendar is something unique to our club. It's all of your images, curated, selected by your fellow members and officers. It is a fine work of art every year, and this year is no exception. This is a most remarkable club to preside over as I enter my third term. That we have been doing this for 60 years is nothing short of astonishing. And it is all of these things that every one of you contribute to that makes this such a special organization. So, changing of the guard in our board. This was normally we have a lovely picture in front of a holiday display to celebrate the changing of the guard. COVID has made that impossible, so instead you get screenshots of screenshots. Myself, my right-hand man, Dr. Dale Parton, our observatory leader, Riyadh, faithful secretary, Mark Kedzie, our diligent treasurer, Adrian Bradley, outreach chair extraordinaire, Bob Tremblay, and of course, a award-winning editor and publications director, Dale Teamy. The 2022 board will look similar. Dr. Dale Parton is stepping back. Since we have now 3-year term limits instead of 2-year term limits, most faces will be returning. But we do have a newcomer, Kevin McLaughlin, who is taking over Bob Tremblay's term-limited outreach chair shoes. And we wish Kevin all the luck in the world at doing one of the most frustrating jobs in the club, which is juggling our busy outreach schedule, which, fingers crossed, we'll get back to where it used to be sometime next year. So, toast to all of y'all. It's been great. And now, the service awards. The WAS has a history of acknowledging its members, sometimes in jest, with the Armchair Astronomer Award and with various curiously named awards from the 70s and 80s that I don't think anybody knows what they were even for anymore. Awards have come and gone. As the way that the club operates changes, as observing changes, as the way that we do business changes. But there are some mainstays of the WAS in the 21st century that we try to find people to acknowledge year after year, to both newcomers who lend immediately something fresh and exciting and energetic when they come in the door, and the veterans who do the work behind the scenes day in, day out, year in, year out to keep a club like this going for 6 decades. It's hard in a digital setting to find what everybody is doing. We don't get to see you at the eyepiece. We don't get to watch you greeting people, welcoming people at meetings. We don't get to sit in your workplace or your couch for discussion groups. And we don't get to see everything you do as far as outreach goes. But the board put a lot of thought into it, and we did have some people whose tireless work on behalf of the club needs to be acknowledged, because without people doing these things, a club cannot survive for 60 years or even 10 or 6. So, the Handson Award is in honor of Bob Watt, a member of the club for many decades, who was still on the scene when I happened to join, and I got to be welcomed by his warmth and courtesy and genuine desire to bring in people who were new and teach them the ropes of this club. Bob was of a vanishing breed of astronomer, the mirror grinder, the optical tube assembly man, as well as being a maintainer of Stargate and the guy who collected our mail for many, many years. So in his honor, after his passing, we created the Bob Watt Award for members who do the hands-on component that sometimes is underappreciated in our digital era. And this year's awardee is a familiar face. long-term member, long-term officer, long-term host of many a star party at his Sirius Observatory in Cadillac West. But Bill Beers remains a mainstay of this club, captain of our astrophotography group, columnist in the WASP, and he is doing the work to make astrophotography accessible and friendly when it can often seem a hobby that is very expensive and frankly quite intimidating. Explaining, mentoring. We have many participants here in the chat room tonight who can testify to the work that Bill has put into nurturing their interest in astronomy and developing their talents in astrophotography over the recent years. And so out of genuine gratitude for this work, the board has voted Bill Beers, or as we call him in this, the Sage of Cadillac West, the Bob Watt Award for hands-on excellence. And if you ever get the chance to visit his dark sky site at Cadillac West, the skies are truly remarkable. Food's good too. Another award honoring the contributions of a long-term member, possibly the ultimate long-term member of the Warren Astronomical Society, Larry Kalinowski, who was there basically at the club's inception and was with the club until the end of his days. Larry did things from being an editor of the WASP to the chairperson of the computer group, which evolved into the discussion group. He made buttons to present to people for their various observing feats. He hosted Messier marathons. Larry was there everywhere, every place. Swap meet, outreach, Stargate meetings, discussion group, the ubiquitous man serving the club while also taking fabulous pictures and writing some extremely amusing articles for his Astro Chatter column. Larry was a part of the infrastructure of the club to the point which, when he died, it seemed a bit improbable that things would have that same sort of atmosphere. Well, we've tried, and we try to honor people who, like Larry, are irreplaceable parts of club infrastructure. Jonathancade, who was nominated by an officer who was not me, so I have much insight, but no bias in this case, has been an officer of this club, filling the roles of president, first vice president, secretary, treasurer, publications, wearing many hats. He has been the IT guy, the webmaster, is the voice at the end of the phone if you call the number listed on the website. That was the astronomical league coordinator, the merch guy, the librarian, the person hauling the tripod to film our shows, the person streaming to YouTube, the archivist, the storer of our history, collecting the archives of Kim Dyer, Larry Kalinowski, Bob Watt, many other departed members. Jonathan's done basically everything that you can do except grind a mirror, and I'm sure he'll manage that one day. And as he began to step back, as life became very difficult during the pandemic for our family, it was awfully hard to find somebody to replace him. Lots of somebodies. And that is the essence of the Kalinowski Award. Not one person can fill the shoes of somebody who gets the Kalinowski Award. It takes an entire squadron. So, Jonathancade, while he's stepping back from his official role in the WASP, he is developing a dark sky site with this fabulous telescope up in Alcona County called Alcona Dark Skies, and we intend to enjoy it and hopefully down the road welcome some of y'all out there. So congratulations, Jonathan, and we hope very much you enjoy the dark skies of Alcona next year.
Thank you. My camera's not working right now. Sorry.
Yeah, quick little note on that telescope. Longtime astronomer John Koslin from the University Lowbrows was the former owner of that scope, and I am indebted to the WAS for making sure that that scope stayed in Michigan, stayed among friends, and is getting good use. It warms my heart and fires up my allergies to know that that scope lives on and is looking at so many different targets in some good skies. Thank you, both of you, Diane and John, for picking that scope up and letting it breathe outdoors again.
Thank you, Adrian. And the Koslin reflector, along with the Blaine McCullough reflector purchased by the club when Jonathan was on the board, are part of Jonathan's passion for doing just that, making sure that the irreplaceable instruments of our departed friends remain and are used and loved and have a connection to the community. So, speaking of departed friends, the highest service award offered by the Warren Astronomical Society bears the name of a young man that most of us never had the chance to meet. John Searles was a dedicated attendee of the WAS, a dedicated amateur astronomer driving long distances to meetings, making the club his life. And unfortunately, that life was very short. In his honor, the John Searles Award was created. It is the highest award that we offer, as I said. The only thing that we can give somebody after they've won the Searles Award is lifetime membership. And it is not given every year. Somebody must live, breathe, bleed, radiate the WAS to receive it. And as we looked through the list of awardees, there seemed a curious omission that needed to be addressed. We went through the back issues of the WASP to see if at some point it had been given out to this person in the 1970s or the 1980s or the 1990s. And we found no evidence of this. And it was strange. And the board looked at one another and said, okay, this must be redressed now. Because best to give people their due honors while they're still with us and active. And Doug Bach is a familiar face, frequent presenter, winner of last year's Kalinowski Award because he indeed is essential infrastructure of the club. But despite the decades of service to the club as an officer, as a greeter, as a mentor, as an inspiration to those who are, again, intimidated by astrophotography or intimidated by the idea of having an observatory. Somehow he escaped the highest honor that we can bestow. Well, there's a time and a place to fix that, and that's right now. So Doug just astounds me personally with everything that he does, whether the time-lapse videos that he made, seem magically easy, the maintenance of the Northern Cross Observatory that he welcomes us to both physically and virtually, the adept way that he transitioned to leading the virtual imaging sessions and virtual discussion groups over the last year. Doug could do a lot with his time in retirement, with his family, with his observatory, with his passion. And he gives so much of it to us. And we are absolutely grateful to have him active with us, inspiring us, advising us, and reminding us that the 70s had some really interesting fashion choices. So thank you, Doug. I think everyone on the board has been touched by your generosity, your kindness, and your art. And we can't thank you enough.
We gotta have applause.
Yeah.
Standing rousing. Doug, if you're on, we're all standing for you. I know you were struggling
Cheers.
to. Yeah, well, you were struggling to get on WebEx because it kept crashing for some reason. If you're able to join, if you're watching through YouTube, please feel free to rejoin us.
Yeah. And so the physical awards have been made. They will be distributed as soon as they are in my hands. They are lovely. They are created as is our custom by Paul Teamy, the relation of Publications Director Dale Teamy and long-term member Brian Teamy. It is sad to not be able to hand those awards over in person, take the lovely photograph and clap somebody on the back and let them know exactly how much we appreciate it. But they will be coming. And in the meantime, we love y'all. Thank you. So with that, I will turn things over for the final time this year so that our speaker of the night can treat us to some of the original programming that makes this club unique and worth coming back to year after year. Douglas Bach has joined the meeting. Congratulations, Doug.
Speech.
Speech, yes.
Speech.
We have time.
You guys are so silly. Thank you very much.
Silly? I'll take it.
Unexpected. Very much unexpected, but thank you very much.
Overdue. You're welcome.
Yeah, Doug, you don't get much credit for even those artful nightscapes that I do. You don't get very much credit for the help you've given us all in your straight but very accurate renditions of astrophotography, night sky. It may be a hobby, but you know, day after day and week after week, you produce countless images that are accurate. You've opened up the observatory to anyone who wants to come out. You've shared it. So COVID hits, no problem. What do? We asked Doug Bach to hold virtual open houses, and there are clubs that didn't do that. And you ran those, on down to presentations and seeing you there. Your love of the night sky inspires us all, and especially me. And I'm glad to call you a friend. And I think the award is well deserved. And I know you're soft spoken. And one thing I know about you, very humble. You just do what you do. Sometimes it needs to be acknowledged. So thank you, Doug.
Well,
Yes.
thank you for that, Adrian. Thank you, Diane. Thank you to the board. I just love this club. I always have since I started in '73, and I'll be in this club for the rest of my life. So I enjoy it. I hope to get together, you guys, when the COVID issues are gone again, and we'll have some fun out in the dark skies.
Looking forward to it.
Can't wait.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you.
And yes, I saved your Okie-Tex. I thought I wasn't going to save it again, but I had to bring it up in front of everyone here.
That's fine. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, because I'm not sure I'm bringing it next year. I got this other little portable mount, and that's probably coming instead.
Well,
I'm not
well,
sure it's supposed to fit.
I'm going to throw that blue cover away that covered up the shaft last year, so it never happens again.
That's good. Of course, I'm worried that you'll miss something else, like a weight or something, and then it would have been I would have had that. But no, it was good because you produced some beautiful images. I think your best image of the Iris Nebula yet came out of that fortunate bounce that you were able to image it. So we had some good nights at Okie-Tex. So
Check-
those were wonderful nights. So, yeah, the imaging
yeah, I'm
sessions were
glad I was
excellent.
able to help.
Even the visual was pretty good for when I did some of that. So
Yeah.
And be sure to check out this month's issue of The Wasp, The Adventures of the Okie-Tex Star Party. All right. Well, we don't have any musical accompaniment. We don't have an open bar. We don't have food. But we do have calendars that you can buy right now for $15 plus $12 to $5 shipping and handling. So nice round 20 to buy the calendars that we have. As we would normally be handing them out right now, you can purchase them on PayPal. We do have the door prize coming, so stick around. Through the feature presentation, door prizes come last, and we've got some good ones. Mark Kids here rustled up some really nice stuff for us.
And email raffle@warrenastra.org to get on the list. The list is very short so far.
Yes, Mark and Jonathan will be running the raffle, so email the list, get on there. You do not want to miss some of these prizes.
I think the deadline will be 8:15 to register for the drawing, if I'm not mistaken.
That should be. So 10 minutes, y'all. 10 minutes. Get those raffle entries in. We've got good stuff. And with that, you've heard a bit already from tonight's special guest, but Adrian Bradley, past president of GLAC, current treasurer of the WAS, our new astronomical lead coordinator, and an enthusiastic astrophotographer and nature photographer who drives just about anywhere in the mitten for that perfect picture, will be tonight's speaker.
Yeah, and as you can tell from that picture, I don't get much sleep because of it. So perfect picture to start it off. Is it okay if I go ahead and start, Diane?
Yep, I'm about to nuke my screen. And take it away, Adrian.
All right, let me fire up the slideshow. Thank you all for gambling on having someone like me be your keynote speaker, and I hope not to disappoint. Of course, I would hit the button before sharing my screen, so let's do that.
Yeah, the preview looked great.
Yeah, so well, there we go. So let me get started. As Diane said, name's Adrian Bradley. I talk through everyone else's presentations. That's just something I do. Even Dr. Levy's presentations, I'll probably talk through his. But the slide here, RASC Astro Imager. I recently got that certificate. It hasn't shown up in physical form, but I was informed that my application to be considered a RASC Astro Imager went through. The Royal Astronomical Society of Canada designates this as basically you get a portfolio officially on the RASC, and I'll be following up with some of the other RASC members to see if that means my work could be published in newsletters and other correspondence, maybe some of the magazines that they send out. So it's an honor to get that. I am a member of your Warren Astronomical Society. I'm also, and this is where I got my start, University Lowbrows Astronomer, and I've been a frequent guest on the Explore Scientific Global Star Party. This is also the Astronomical League is a part of that star party. So all because of the love of the sky. And so my specialty, I suppose, is nightscapes. And so this slide, what is a nightscape? I brought some definitions from an online dictionary, Merriam-Webster. Astronomy, study of objects and matter outside the Earth's atmosphere. Let me move this here. And of their physical and chemical properties. A stargazer, which we all are, one who gazes at the stars, such as an astrologer. We won't get into this much. Astronomer, that's what we do. And then the astrophotographer, Doug Bach, who and one of many, and anyone who takes a picture of the sky. Photography involving astronomical objects and events. It doesn't say great photography. It doesn't say terrible photography. It just says photography. If you took a picture of a star, you're doing astrophotography. It doesn't have a definition for nightscape. So during the presentation, I hope to provide one. So here are my efforts at Classic Wide Field. This taken with fellow member Dale Hollenbaugh. We've got the heart and the soul and the double cluster at Okie-Tex. Well, I got one comment. I appear to have missed the other one, comment Leonard. Here's a interesting shot that I tried wide field of the Seder region, North American and Pelican nebulas out at Lake Hudson. Also an attempt at the conjunction. This was one of the images I sent in. This Orion Nebula was a single 2 or 3 minute shot at Port Austin at a particularly dark area, and I was happy with how it came out. So while I love classic astrophotography, the rules are get data, get more data, get time. And I kind of like single shots and shooting and moving because I often have a lot of driving to do. David, this is for you. You may not remember this picture, but 2017, David comes to the University of Michigan. We've got Charlie Nielsen, president of the Lowbrows, and I believe this gentleman was with the Vatican Observatory. And here I am doing an improper selfie because you're supposed to hold the selfie above your head and take it. And the picture to the right is my inspiration. It's this simple photo. There's 4 stars here. There's a 5th that I'd have to look up. There's 4 stars here. When David Levy went to the southern hemisphere, looked out his hotel room, and took this photo of the Southern Cross. Something about that photo just inspired me to say, hey, you can catch starlight, you can catch constellations. And I'd wanted to try that ever since. So thank you, Dr. Levy. So now talking about getting starlight, you have to understand it and how it works. And having worked with, prior to getting a camera, I learned that exposure time is important. The reason that I included these 3 shots, nothing to do with astronomy, but everything to do with the process. Photography is generally a process where you study the subject. So a Caspian tern here, noticing that it would fly around and then it would dive toward the water. And I said, it'd be cool if I could catch it right above the water. So I had to study it and come back again and again to the same place to take shots where I'd capture it progressively closer to the water. And then finally one day I caught it just before it entered the water at a different angle. So a progression for this photo would be to try and capture it the way it's oriented here, but close. So it's the same thing with night photography. You may get a good picture, but you may see something that you want to improve on or do differently. And it's always a progress. A lot of times I shoot at the same places and I try to produce different images when I do that. One feature of astronomy isn't too easy to do in clouds, but nightscapes, you can do some interesting things with clouds. And it was my way of saying, well, even if it's cloudy, I can still do something. I can still get an image. that I like. So, as I said here, sometimes clouds create a unique nightscape. And part of the reason I enjoy doing nightscapes is because other forms of astronomy, like visual astronomy, would be tough here. Astrophotography, when you're trying to gather data on maybe one of these nebulae here, this would be ruining your image, all the clouds flowing in. But a nightscape can look really nice, even if you have clouds, you can still take a picture of something. And this is Port Sanilac Roadside Park, a beautiful park. It's closed, so but the the deck down closer to the beach is open. I've been here the last few nights trying to capture some images. You have to be patient when you do this. This is the same night, and the clouds cleared. And so while I was still there, so I grabbed the gear back out of the truck, plopped it down, and took an image. So there you have the original image I was trying to get flanked with clouds, but the skies opened up just as I'm leaving. And so what did I do? I either had to leave and gnash my teeth, or I could go get another image. So I went ahead, set back up, and I got that image. Clouds dissipate, and when they do, it's showtime. You got to grab your camera, grab your gear, see what you can get. So I started out with a very modest kit, the Canon 30D and the 18 to 55 millimeter kit lens, and took these 2 photos with it. This was, I believe, before taking a formal photography class to learn about things like ISO. Those of you that are photographers in the group may know about it. ISO, gain, your f-stop, which is aperture, the aperture blades, how much light a lens can let in, exposure time. Astronomy had already taught me that longer exposures are important to get details. And so you have Earthshine here. You have a Milky Way shot without a tracker. It was hazy out, and in 49 seconds, I was able to tease out detail the Milky Way. This is the first shot, and I thought I was really doing something. In a sense, I was. I remembered that you can go online and get a cookie cutter set of instructions and gear that you need to take a Milky Way photo. This is done with some 20-year-old equipment, 20-year-old lens, and if you don't worry about power lines and things being in the way, and there's a bright light over here, I'm able to get the light of the Milky Way. And I do believe this is a planet. I want to say it's either Mars or Saturn. I don't recall which one at the time. It was 2017. So now fast forward to what I can do today. Obviously, there's more detail here. So gear does help you, but learning the process of taking the long exposure, how long an exposure to get, then you take your gear and you learn, well, okay, I can expose a little bit more, I can pull in a little more light, I can use editing programs to bring up the colors that are in the trees in the foreground. You can basically progress in the things that you're able to present with your photography. And I'm careful not to say, is this a better photo? This photo just shows more detail. Even the region in here with the horse head, a little bit of light shows up here based on it being a modified camera, and that light comes in a lot faster. You can still get an image like this with a non-modified camera, but it may take a little bit longer for that hydrogen alpha light to show up. And then with processing, with contrast, you figure out how to show these dust lanes in a not too often shot part of the Milky Way, the winter section. More Milky Way shooters are beginning to shoot this because when they see images online that show how beautiful it looks and how much data is there, then they go, oh, okay, maybe we should do that. This looks like the Witch Head Nebula right here. Barely makes an appearance where my cursor is. And sometimes it pops out when I do an image, sometimes it doesn't. This is it's somewhere north, but the Lower Peninsula, maybe an hour or so before you get to the Mackinac Bridge on Highway 75. Yes, I'll stop sometimes if the sky's that clear and I'll take a shot, and it made the presentation. So yeah, anywhere where it's dark, I tend to have camera gear and I'll shoot. So basic settings, if you are interested in starting and you want to get some Milky Way photography, even in some questionable lighting conditions, these are things that I start with. The ISOs are high. If you have only a tripod and a camera, you're going with higher ISOs because you want your camera, your digital camera, to pull in as much light, be as sensitive to light as it can. And I typically use a full frame lens. The difference between a full frame for a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, the difference being more light. Astro cameras that are cooled are used often for dedicated astrophotography, and you can get an adapter and put a wide angle lens on that and get a similar shot. The cooled cameras don't produce as much noise that you worry about using a high ISO. All that matters is, does your photo look grainier than or not? If exposed properly, it generally doesn't look as grainy. You have stars. You may have a little extra detail. Things like what appears to be a meteor here will show up. Your shutter speeds, if you're on a tripod and you're not tracking, between 10 and 20 seconds, you can get a good shot, and you'll have starlight, you'll have round stars. 20 seconds, as I found out last night, works with a 14mm wide angle lens. I would recommend sticking with those wide focal lengths if you don't have tracking, because you've got to have enough time to pull out the starlight from the sky. A lot of the cameras and a lot of photography is taught when there's a sun in the sky. And when you're doing night photography, you've got millions of suns in the sky, but they're all light years and light years away. So you have to pull in their light. This image taken at Point O'Bark Lighthouse Park, which when I get to the slideshow part of the presentation, you'll see many images that I take from there. So once you have a tracking mount, this is at Lake Hudson Dark Sky Preserve, and I went for, I want to say, somewhere between 1 and 2 minutes, just focused on this portion of the Milky Way. And now your ISOs can come down for those of you that do photography, and we've all been taught that the less our ISO is, the less luminance noise will get introduced into your shot. But if you don't expose it properly, you're still going to get noise. With a guided mount, you can lower that ISO and just track for as long as you want. Guided tracking, I've done a lot of unguided tracking, so I pretty much top out somewhere between 1 and 2 minutes. But for my purposes, I'm usually happy with what I get. If I do a single shot, 30 seconds is all that I'll need. So longer exposures, you gather more detail from the night sky. All of the good astrophotographers, including those in our club, will tell you need data to work with. The longer your exposures, the more data you pull down for you to work with. Sure, you got to process it. You got to get some processing software to work with it, but good data, and then there's also techniques you can use to flatten your field so that you've got a nice, even, crisp astrophoto. And even in Nightscapes, one thing I like to try and make these things as crisp as possible. It's not just a background for something on Earth. For me, it's a part of the overall picture. for some cases, you have to do a composite. Notice how these little trees over here are blurry. If I wanted to do this and have, say, the Lake Hudson foreground, then I would end up taking another single photo, merging the two images together in a composite. And a lot of nightscapers who have been doing it for a long time, that's how they tend to do it. They'll gather a lot of sky data, they'll gather a single shot of the foreground, and they'll present the image as a single image. So that is one way to do it. So places that I've imaged, I have no idea what my time is, so I'm gonna race through these a little bit. First, Dark Sky Park. I look up and I see a whole bunch of stars. This is what it looks like with a long exposure, so the planes are flying all the time. But first experience seeing a bunch of stars. The Dipper is in here somewhere. If you can find it, maybe we'll throw in an additional raffle ticket. I'm actually showing you where it is right here. So I go to Lake Hudson a lot. I do have fails. That's why there's no image in this slide. Gladwin, a very dark place for, it's about a Bortle 3. I had that 30D out there and just, it looked great on the back of it. And then I put them all in the computer and they were all donuts. Fail. So I've yet to make up for that. Then I went to San Francisco. This is interesting. There you are, Golden Gate Bridge. I have my camera, and if I show you a close-up, you'll actually see some starlight. This not so glorious photo, stars that I sat and I exposed for. I think this is actually a double cluster here. On the Golden Gate Bridge, this is the North Tower, and I was standing maybe over here. It was dark. There were fewer cars passing along at that time. And I set the camera down. I didn't have a tripod, so I just set it down somewhere on the bridge, tried to hold it steady for somewhere between 15 and 20 seconds, and I got starlight. What turns out to not be such a beautiful image turns out to be a proof of concept that in that particular region in San Francisco, you can get starlight. So it was another experiment that says, hey, it's possible to pull down starlight even not far from a major city. And this was one of those where there wasn't much fog. It actually dissipated, so I got a chance to see the bridge. So that was an interesting experiment, and I was it kind of showed me that with a long enough exposure, you can pull starlight almost anywhere. So Ann Arbor, Michigan, Broward Nature Preserve is a favorite place of mine to do imaging. It's not far from Ann Arbor itself, and there's just enough darkness to be able to pull out Milky Way and the stars of the night sky do shine here, although those of you that know what Bortle regions are, I would say it's about a Bortle 5, but there is starlight. So for those of you that go to Ann Arbor, Michigan, look up Broward Nature Preserve. It's it's a kind of a diamond in the rough if you just want to do some visual observing, or a little bit of imaging. It produces a nice backdrop. So Alcona County, where our esteemed president and award-winning winner Jonathancade reside nearby there, and this is what they mean when they say they have nice dark skies. Even through the clouds again, I was able to get some imaging done. And then at Alcona, the campground out there is where we did some Milky Way shooting with another astrophotographer, Dr. Brian Ottom, who another one of my many mentors in doing this. This picture of the light pillars of a distant town is the image that is on the Park and Rec literature. I offered it up. I didn't ask for any money. I just said, you guys might want this. And they said, we'll do it. And then they sent me a copy of what it looks like. So that's when one of my images got published. Sometimes you don't do this for money. Sometimes you do it because you just want what you saw in the night sky. You want others to see it because you want people to enjoy the night sky and realize that this stuff is out there. And in the thumb, you have Point O'Bark Lighthouse Park. It's one of my favorite places to image, even though there's tons of lighting there that make visual astronomy there not so good. And you do have some trees here and there, but you're under a Bortle 3 sky. Hopefully it stays that way if they don't continue to add lighting to this area of the park and begin to take away some of that ability to see the night sky there. The sky is brilliant. It's also brilliant here at Eagle Bay. Anywhere in the thumb, near the tip of the thumb, is where you get your best skies. About Bortle 3 in that part of the thumb. Then you can go up to the UP and then you're in Bortle 2 skies. Every time I've tried to go to Quamanon Falls National Park, or I think it's a state park, the Quamanon Falls State Park, I generally get cloudy skies. It just the skies follow me, and if it's clear, it's a 6-hour one-way trip that I'm not ready to take. I did get a clear sky and got this minute-long image of the Milky Way there on the road towards Tequamanon Falls. And because of that, I missed my opportunity to shoot it at Tequamanon Falls, but I still think it was worth it. This was my first detailed Milky Way image where I saw more things that I hadn't seen in any of my other shots. And the sky was brilliant. Found out it was a Bortle 2, but wait, there's more, because I joined some lowbrows in Kenton, Oklahoma, and finally this past October got a chance to see some Bortle 1 skies. And these two images are, I picked these two images to show because that's twilight. There's still, the sun is set, but there's still twilight. There's still light from the sun, and the Milky Way is that bright that I could pull that image off. When clouds come and you've got the dark underbelly of the clouds because there's no light pollution, the Milky Way shines through those clouds. Yeah, like you see the moonlight shining through clouds here. Well, it's Milky Way light at a Bortle 1 site. So I encourage you all that you haven't gone to a dark Bortle 1 site, definitely try and go. All that starlight comes out. It just looks a little different. It's not light pollution, it's air glow. You can actually see a little bit of that greenish glow over here. It's air glow, and light pollution makes it to where you have less stars here, but you get air glow. You get those colors, but you've got millions of stars. All right, so that is the not quite the end. I'm going to play. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play a 7-minute little. I'm going to get rid of this Groupon thing here, and Bob Trimley's email, and I'm going to play a 7-minute slideshow, a little bit of background music, and it's basically a travelogue of images that I've shot. So hopefully you enjoy. And that is it. This was my presentation for the 2021 banquet. And hopefully you all enjoyed that. And hopefully YouTube is still running too. I've heard there's issues with music sometimes. But I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm willing to answer questions if you have them. Otherwise, that's it.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I love the
Thank you.
iPhone, not an iPhone bits too.
Yeah, I threw that in. The nice thing about those Bortle One skies, 30 seconds to the iPhone somehow figured out that it needed to go for 30 seconds. And it ended up getting some Milky Way light. I was impressed.
Are
And
you going
then,
to make that available for viewing?
yes, I am going to make that video available. I've uploaded to a Google link, and I will put the link in the chat. And we'll have to get it to those that are on YouTube somehow. You can go there and you can watch, you can play that video. Because I uploaded it so that I could share it out with others. So let
Adrian,
me, yes.
the image there in your video that you showed that had neowise in it, I noticed a number of green dots. Were those fireflies, lightning bugs in a field?
They were, and I was gonna put that in the
was really
picture
cool.
because everybody asks if those are fireflies. I should have just done it. I still have the project. I could, yes, they're fireflies. I was gonna put that at the bottom of the screen. So they are fireflies. It was it when we saw Neowise? July 2020, I think. So yep. Yeah, everyone noted when they see that picture, they notice it.
Adrian, can you describe those pillars of light in several of the pictures?
Say that again, Jim. You broke up a little bit. I'll see if say that again.
The pillars of light on several of your shots that seem to come from villages or towns.
Okay,
What
yeah,
are those pillars of light?
yeah, a lot of those colors I think came from air glow. If you're talking about greens and you're talking about reds that were sort of underneath the dark sky, that was air glow. The ones from the thumb were, some of that was light pollution that I left the color in. The tungsten light gives out like a yellowish and an orange.
But the vertical
Oh, light
shots,
pillars. Those were all light pillars.
pillars.
Yeah, those it may yet get me an APOD, the only image that got serious consideration because it got posted to the Sky social media. Those were light pillars. They yeah, you saw a picture of real aurora and you saw kind of those spires. Light pillars when you've got flat ice crystals in the sky, so it's cold, and man-made light then gets basically projected up as a pillar. And in a from a distance, you can see it. Now, when there's enough crystals in the sky, you can see it from a reasonably close distance too. But yeah,
And you see it with the naked eye.
yes, you can.
Interesting.
Because I knew it was coming from a man-made source, I just said, "Oh, that's interesting," and it just didn't strike me as something unusual. But when I took the picture and I saw it, I thought it was a defect in the picture. I said, "There's stripes here. I have a bad sensor," and I looked, and I could tell naked eye. I could see faintly, those lights. So those are all just different colors of light from that town. Whatever it was, that's the light that you saw. And
We should all watch for it.
yeah, when it's cold and there's flat ice crystals in the sky. So something like after a snowfall or something, the conditions might be right for it. I know the pictures flew through kind of quickly. I was going to look to see if I could find that image again. Let's see. Here we go. So let me all right. So this image, share it. That's the image we're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, these, and the story behind this image is that I was done after taking a couple of other pictures about an hour from here or so. An hour because it's slow driving in snowy conditions, but I had a truck, so I said I can get there. I said I may as well go because if it's clear over, I was hoping it would be clear because I wanted to do Milky Way photography. It wasn't, it was hazy. So the stars bloat on their own when it's hazy. And you saw some of that at Okie-Tex too. I'll look for hazy clouds and take pictures because it produces this effect. When I saw it and I go, that's interesting. Is that even real? It's like, what's going on? And so when I looked out, you could still see faintly those pillars going up into the sky. And I said, this must be real. I posted it. I looked it up and said, yeah, they call those light pillars. That's interesting.
It's not like a,
It's beautiful and almost supernatural.
Yeah, it's like the right conditions happen. You look at it from a distance and you get lucky enough to see it.
almost looks like
Now,
a little reflection from, faint northern lights.
yes. And you saw the picture I had of the real northern lights, so they do look similar. I think it gets mistaken for northern lights. Somewhere around here, I have a picture that I took very recently and saw this. Said, did I catch it again? Because it's definitely man-made light from Canada. And it does appear to be shooting up in form of light pillars. It was cold that night. It was below 30. It's something like 27 degrees. You've got your clouds, which you need. So, and then that'd be another faint one right here.
Huh.
And here, I tend to think I caught another light pillar.
So if
It's
it's windy, does that
not necessarily. It's something that you would see in the distance. If it's windy, I guess it depends on where the wind is, because
does it
if the
affect
crystals are
the
blowing,
crystal layer or whatever?
yeah, if the crystals are blowing around and that's a good question, Dale, because I'm not really sure. I think there just has to be enough for that light to get cast through those crystals. I mean, it just shoots straight up. There's more research that I could and probably will do on why these things form. The reason this almost got apotted is because it was such a unique feature. It did get featured in Skyweather featured this image when I submitted it a couple days after taking it, and it hit the internet. So one picture that got published that I was happy to see published. I didn't need money for it. I was just happy to see it there. And here, I'll stop sharing. It was just it was interesting. I had no idea what I had taken a picture of. I said, "Oh, it must be real, whatever it is." And I think that's when I looked it up and saw that it was light pillars. So
Thanks.
you're
All
welcome.
right, got more questions for Adrian. If not, let's round of applause for our final speaker of 2021 and some amazing
you all.
pictures. Are we ready for door prizes, Mr. Kedzier?
I need to get the final count from Jonathan. He has a spreadsheet. I got the numbers, so there'll be no chicanery going on right here. It'll be on the level. All right.
John's got the spreadsheet, Mark's got the numbers. Let's hand out lots of prizes.
Okay.
I sent you the list, Mark.
You sent me a list.
Did, and I checked it twice.
All right, so dig this beautiful door prize.
The only question is, do we have
display.
do we have more raffle entrants than we do prizes? Because I'm not sure we do. We only have 14 in. Oh, I guess Ken is add Ken in at number 15.
Jonathan, can you handle the spreadsheet, and I'll just call the numbers as we go through the prizes? If
Sure.
if I call the number, that way I'm not multitasking. I find
Yep.
it difficult as I'm getting up in my years. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, we've got a little slide presentation right here with the door prizes. These were sent out donation. Yes, the familiar WASP begulators asking some of our astronomical community retailers and everything for some prizes, and we did have some respond. What we have is we got from Celestron, sent us 5 of these Power Tank Glow 5000 red flashlights. What's nice about this, it can charge up your cell phone. Okay, we have a XYZ 3-axis um, for a smartphone adapter, so you can take photos through your telescope. That was donated by Dr. Dale Parton. We have a Galileo 5-inch equatorial reflector. Comes with 2 eyepieces and a red dot finder scope. A pretty durable EQ mount. We also have from Celestron a thermocharge hand warmer charger. Celestron must have been thinking about us Michigan people. Nice to have hand warmers while we're out observing under colder weather. Software Bisque sent the Sky Imaging Edition, and we have so if you are the winner on that, just contact Sky Edition online, and they will give you the download on that. FPI Protostar, if you're into doing a little ATM work, it's like a flock board. It's reduces. It's a light absorbing material to put inside your optical tube to give you some nice contrast in your images. And I think that pretty much covers it right there. One other item. Uh, Dale Teamy, our award-winning editor, has donated the Book of All Knowledge, as Gary M. Ross says, the 2022 Royal Astronomical Society of Canada Handbook. So that's what we have on schedule right here, and we'll start doing the drawing. We have 15, right, Jonathan?
Yep.
15, okay. Okay, here we go. Our first drawing will be for the Celestron power tank. It's a red flashlight. What's nice about this, it has these straps that you can actually strap it onto your tripod, so you have a red flashlight down by your accessory tray. So we're going to give that away first. Going to pick a number right here. We have the number 11. Who's number 11, Jonathan?
Bob Tremblay.
Bob Tremblay. Okay. All right, Bob. Would you like this prize?
Sure.
Okay, you got it.
Now all I got to do is order that new 10-inch Dobsonian.
There you go. All right.
All
All right. Prize number 2, we're going to do the Celestron hand warmer, thermocharge hand warmer. It also acts as, you can also charge your cell phone also. So whatever your choice, you have a couple options on that. Do the drawing now.
They make foot warmers like that because I need that more.
Well, get another one. You can jam them in your boots. Number one. We have number one. Who's number one?
Tab Ahmad.
Tab Ahmad. Okay. And he gets the hand warmer. All right. Okay, our next item will be Galileo 5-inch equatorial reflector. Excuse me. Number 14,
Angela Small.
Angela Small. She has a telescope now. All right. The next item we're going to give one of these Power Tank Glow 500 red flashlights again. Celestron give us 5 of each on these, so these are pretty nice things right here. So we're going to do another red flashlight from Celestron. We have number 3.
Dale Teamy.
All right, Dale. Just in case the power goes out, he has a red flashlight to finish the WASP for next month. All right. All right, Dale. Got that. Okay, the next one. We're going to do another hand charger. Hand warmer, hand charger. Digging
I
out
could
the...
use.
Okay. If you're number 10, that would be you. Who's number 10?
I think you're gonna have to look long and hard to find number 10, Mr. Kedzier, because it's you.
Who is it?
It's you.
It's me.
It's you.
Well,
Well,
that's wonderful. We can maybe negotiate later. Okay, I'll just put myself down for it. All right. Okay. The next item we have is the Software Abyss, the Sky Edition. The download for all the astrophotographers who've got in this group. I'm sure this will come in handy for some astro imaging software. And the winner on this one is number 8.
Bill Slagaris. I hope I pronounced that right.
Okay,
Very good. Thank you.
all right, you're all set. Okay, the next item we have, we're going to do another Power Tank Glow 5000 red flashlight. Isn't that something? The winner of this one is number 2.
Bob Hill.
Bob Hill has a red flashlight. All right. Got that. Okay, the next one, we're going to do another hand warmer.
I'm shocked.
Huh? You're shocked. Well, if you put that if you get wet while you have the hand warmer, you could get shocked.
That's
Okay,
true.
number 13 is the winner of
That would be Jeff McLeod,
Jeff.
the silent and invisible president emeritus. Look at that clapping at him.
There you go.
Emoticon.
All right, Jeff, got that right there. Okay, now the Book of All Knowledge. The Royal Astronomical Society of Canada handbook, donated by Mr. Dale Team. And the winner is number 15, Ken Burton,
Ken
right?
Burton.
Okay, that way he can keep up to speed with Gary Ross and getting all that data correct. All right. Okay, our next one, another Power Tank Glow 5000 red flashlight. And that would go to number 6.
It's Ray Bossard from Cranbrook. The man
All
who
right.
gives us our sky chart every month, I think.
Okay, that's great. So Ray gets that. All right. And then we're going to do another hand warmer. Picking a number here. Number 5.
Number 5 is Mike Young.
Mike Young gets a hand warmer. Okay, our next item is the flock board from FPI Protostar. A real nice thing. You might want to check out their website in case you're doing any, you want to do any upgrades to your telescope. They really specialize in secondary mounts in the mirrors and everything, even with dew heaters on the secondaries, curved vane, 3 vane, 4 vane. Really nice equipment and everything. Number 4 for FPI Protostar.
Number 4 goes to Mr. Dale Hollenbaugh. He'll never have a stray light beam again.
Also can be used as a hand warmer.
There you go. All right, here we go again. We are going to do the Celestron, the NextYZ 3-axis smartphone adapter donated by Dr. Dale Parton. And we picked the number out here. We have number 12.
Kevin McLaughlin.
That's Kevin. Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Welcome to the Cell Phone Astrophotographer Club, Kevin.
That's it. So whenever we have another outdoor gathering, we should see a lot of red flashlights out there in the tripods,
Yep.
which would be pretty
and
awesome.
A lot of warm hands.
Okay. All right, here we go. The last Celestron Power Tank Glow red flashlight goes to number 9.
Adrian Bradley.
Could have used it last night. My tablet died on me. And so
Oh no.
because of that, so did my mount. So I'll be happy to know I got one of those now.
There you go. And you don't have to worry, charge your cell phone up if you had to go to that too. So, okay, that leaves us with one hand charge warmer. The final prize goes to number 7.
Steve Stewart.
Steve Stewart.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay, he gets the hand warmer. Okay, and that is all the prizes. Now, as for delivery, we have your emails. We'll be in touch with you. These will be we're going to deliver it to your homes. I know with the flashlights and the hand chargers, they have lithium batteries in it, and that's a whole nother animal when you try to mail it and stuff like that. So we'll get in touch with you. Now I'll be making some deliveries, and I'll also be coordinating with Jonathan and Diane and Adrian if we have to deliver to another part of the continental metropolitan Detroit area. Okay, but we'll get these things to you. Okay, so anyway,
That makes sense to me.
what's
And
that?
remember, Mark, remember to make sure that you have clear airspace for the sleigh and the reindeer before you take those up there.
Don't worry, I will shine the red flashlight and let them know on that. Okay. So anyway, please patronize our sponsors that donated prizes and everything, and but that concludes our door prize drawing, and I'm glad everybody has enjoyed their prizes.
All right. Thank you so much, Mark and Jonathan, for doing that.
Thank you,
And
Jonathan.
congratulations to everybody. Nice to see some new members, new attendees picking up prizes. Hope you enjoy them all. If veteran members who already have, say, copies of the Royal Astronomical Society Handbook wish to trade or, re-gift a thing, let us
Yeah, I wanted that too.
know. I want it every year. Of course, we didn't get much use of ours this year. Fingers crossed for next year. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much. Good to see you all. Hello, Laura. Glad you finally were able to get in.
Well,
I believe we've got the room running for a little while longer. If y'all want to chit chat, share pictures, whatever, just chill. But it was a
great
good
meeting.
night, and hope we'll see you all
Thank you, Adrian.
virtual Cranbrook in January.
Same way.
Happy New Year.
You're welcome, Laura.
Happy
Did you
New
get the
Year,
link?
everybody. Take
Laura,
care.
Everybody.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Laura, did you get the link to my slideshow?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
I watched it.
Excellent.
It was great. I had one little question. I have like a I guess it's a 5-inch.
Telescope.
Get the name.
Scope.
Yeah, Celestron. And if I was just to take my phone in the field, can I put it up to the eyepiece, or should I just put my phone somewhere stable and do video for 30 seconds to get a star picture?
I've done both.
Okay.
It's tougher to put it up to the eyepiece and like get it to where you can tell it's in focus and then take the picture. That can be tough.
Okay.
I use a tripod and put the tripod up there and
Yeah, I
like
do have a
line
tripod.
it. Yeah, and then lined it up that way so I wouldn't have to try and hold it. We all shake when we hold it. We can be pretty stable, but it can be tough. The
The
tripod method worked for me.
telescope on a tripod, hold it up to the eyepiece.
Yeah, smartphone on a tripod, hold it up to the telescope eyepiece.
Well,
And
those.
then
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
Confused.
You may have
Celestron XYZ things like who won that again? Kevin?
Kevin
yeah,
did.
that's another way to do it.
It's the best way, by far the best way. Like it's I've spent a lot of shaky nights trying to get the the photographic axis of the cell phone camera lined up with the telescope's light beam, and the XYZ makes it way easier than it would ever be any other way.
I got one of those things on my Santa list this year. Hopefully, I'll get to try one out.
All right, you guys
They're
are
super awesome.
You guys are so advanced that I couldn't quite follow that. But are you?
Oh no, it's just a little $40, $35 device that you that essentially it clamps to your eyepiece and then it clamps to your phone.
Okay, so I got to be simple here. I got my tripod. I got my Celestron. You'll hold it up to the eyepiece. Is that the best?
Yeah, that would be a good way to start.
All right.
And then if that it's like I can't line it up still, then what Jonathan is saying is that you can just buy one of those and then clip it to your eyepiece. It'll put your phone, it'll help you get your phone on there perfectly. All you'd have to do is put it on and then you can start snapping away.
What's it called, Jonathan?
Too.
I just pasted it in the chat here. It's called the Nex, NEX, and then the letters YZ, Nex YZ.
YZ.
Yeah, you can.
YZ. Okay.
Yeah,
and
if you follow the link, it'll take you right to the right thing, and you can like save it on a wish list, or you'll at least see what it is.
Right.
Well, and there's one up there from Amazon Warehouse. Sometimes things get damaged in Amazon warehouses, and I mean the package gets damaged, but the thing inside is fine. And usually that's what I buy. So there's one of those up there for $40 right now. So it's well worth it.
Website? What website?
On Amazon, I pasted it in the chat here. If you click on the little chat bubble, I'll put it on the YouTube link as well.
Chat. Oh, there it is. Okay, thanks. Appreciate it. Did you just smile Amazon right there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I always use Amazon Smile because I have it give 1% of whatever I buy to the WAS. So.
And you get that by typing the word smile.amazon at our club.
Yep. Well, you can select the charity that you want, but our club is registered as a charity on there.
Yeah,
1%.
So you have
good to know.
So you have to put smile.amazon to get in the club charity. Okay.
$1,000 worth of Christmas lights for a friend of mine.
Oh.
Yikes. All right.
You can also set it up on the mobile app as well. You can turn it on, but it's a different way to do it. I always have to fiddle around before I remember how to do it.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Oh, good to see you, Dale.
Oh, look at that. They have one with a Bluetooth remote now, so you don't even have to touch the thing to get it aligned. That's pretty fancy. Or maybe it's just a Bluetooth. Oh, it's just a Bluetooth remote to take pictures, so you don't have to touch the screen. Well,
Touch the
that's
screen,
useful.
I think, for shakiness.
Yeah, no, that's very helpful too. I should pick one of those up. But you can probably pick one of those up for $5, I bet you.
The little Bluetooth things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I looked into that because I think it was a Black Friday special or Monday special or something like that. Might have been a deal a day maybe where they had the next XY. I don't know, it's like an extra $20 off or something, but not with the little clicker, not with not the deluxe version that had that. It's like, well, you can buy generic Bluetooth things. It's not Celestron package, but you can buy like, I don't know, 3 of them for $10 or something.
Yeah, and there's I see they have a cheaper version now called the Next Go that is only 2-axis instead of 3-axis.
Yeah, it doesn't
So-
zoom in and out.
Yeah,
So
so that might
depending
be
on
worth
if you don't have
considering.
a wide variety of eyepieces, that could
Right.
work for you, but
Yeah. But so there
Yeah,
are,
it's back.
for a long time there have been so-called smartphone adapters for eyepieces, and the vast majority of them are completely unusable. I have a couple of those, and they're just not usable. So the NextYZ is just completely out of their league. It's a really nice way to do it.
Well, thank
Well,
you.
I made one with a 3D printer, and the thing with those little adapters is not only does it have to hold it in the correct spot, X and Y axis, but it needs to be able to be adjustable in and out as well, so you get that focus.
Yep.
And not all of them have it.
Yeah, and I also have to use a special. You can't use the iPhone photography app because Apple doesn't believe in giving people the ability to control the focus of photos. So I have to use a different app to take pictures when I'm taking pictures through my telescope. The most frustrating thing on Apple phones is that they have multiple cameras, and it tries to guess which camera to use. And my eternal experience with trying to take pictures through binoculars or telescopes or whatever is that it will always choose the other one that I don't have an image in, which is the funniest thing. It will literally switch to a camera that has no photons coming into it because it thinks that that's the right one for whatever reason. It's very weird. I don't understand why they do that.
I try to control it by picking the zoom that I want and then have it switch to the camera that best does that. So I don't know if they fixed that in later versions. What version of iPhone do you have?
I have an iPhone XR now, so it's relatively
I
recent.
love that phone.
That's a relatively new phone, so it
Yeah,
should
but it
have
still
the
does it. It does it just as badly as my iPhone 7 did. So,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
kind of disappointing they
I
didn't
think
fix
once you get to the 11, you start
Yeah.
having more control over the cameras. I have a 12. Of course, the 13 is out, and I
Well,
don't know what the difference is between the 12 and the 13 Pros.
yeah, I don't either. I want my thumbprint back. I will not buy another iPhone until they add the thumbprint reader back.
You
But
get it
the
with
app that
the I forget what version of the iPhone it is, but they did bring back the thumbprint. It's
it
a
was it
it's
was
like a
supposed to be
throwback
back in the
phone.
13, but it huh. It
Yeah,
was
it's like a
supposed to be back
throwback
in the
phone.
13, but it didn't. But I use an app called Halide, and that gives you control over aperture. It gives you control over, you know, speed, shutter speed, and it gives you control
Yeah.
over focus. And so, unfortunately, it can't use the zoom very well. Um, so that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, but it controls your camera, and I think those are fixed length cameras, and digital zoom is what it's doing
Yeah.
Although it's gotten a little better at the digital zoom, but you know, I don't know if they're packing in megapixels so that it looks the zooms look a little better than they used to.
I think so.
Yeah,
Well, Halide actually does switch the camera that you're using, but it doesn't have whatever magic that Apple added in there to kind of
to be
make it
smarter than
easier.
outsmart
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah, exactly. Because like the
Upgraded
Apple
Christie's
camera
phone
kind
this
of
year.
composes them together.
Yeah.
I upgraded my wife's phone to an iPhone 13 Pro, and I've been very impressed with the camera. She had a 10, an X, which was
Okay, and
good,
that's yeah.
but the triple camera, especially the wide angle, we've been really liking.
Maybe they fixed it in the 13 because in the 12, the wide angle camera couldn't do some of the things like night photography mode didn't work like it did in the other two. And
I thought the night photos stuff. I'm not talking Milky Way, but just out and about, architectural night scenes, walking around. You know,
yeah.
we were
So
down in Texas, walking along the Riverwalk. You know, at 10 at night, and just street lamps and everything, and we could see buildings, and it automatically would expose for like 2 or 3 seconds, and just really simple, easy shots. And I was just like, wow, this is really impressive.
they might have improved that from 12 to 13 and put it in all three cameras, and that would be a marked improvement. I think there's a astrophysicist that I know through Instagram and on her YouTube channel, and I can't think of her last name. It's Dr. Becky from the UK, and I can't think of her last name, but she recently posted an Instagram shot where she took her phone coming from the pub, took her phone and managed to get starlight on her iPhone despite it, being from the pub and, being shakier than normal. And
if you're interested, I was in Bortle 1, and I did take some Milky Way photos with the iPhone 13. I'll send you some. I didn't think they were very good, but from a interesting standpoint, it's like you can see it.
You can, well, yeah. Remember in my presentation, I had a couple of Milky Way shots when I was in Oklahoma.
Well, I think it actually is less noisy than that.
Yeah, they may have improved to where your shots might be a little less noisy than the.
See what you think. I'll have to grab the phone and text it to me, but
I also try the night sky. I've gotten some just in the woods. It's pitch black and the night mode is just crazy how it picked
It's
up.
gotten better over there.
And that's the 12 Pro, 12 Max Pro or 12 Pro Max, whatever.
Yeah. Yep, I have the same thing. Of course, mine's being used for my camera right now because that's basically because all my other cameras failed to work with this old machine that I use. So enter my phone. So that's what I'm using. And it does pretty good. Of course, I do a remote I have an intervalometer and a remote shutter for all the mirrorless and DSLR cameras I use. So those, so I don't have to. Sometimes I'll just press the shutter carefully if I'm just taking a quick shot and the stars still turn out round, and I'm like, okay, well that's good. But
has anybody else got any big purchases or anything on their Christmas list for astronomical fun?
I think I'm done. I got myself that it's been cloudy because I got myself this IXOS 2 or 100-2 mount from Explore Scientific. Obviously, I didn't polar align it correctly because I was getting star trails when I was trying to track. So I've got some troubleshooting and some work to do to get that, and maybe a polar alignment or that air thing that would help with that. I'll probably have to buy that next.
Oh, here's something. Here's something that we got. I want to show you guys.
Hey guys.
That's cute.
Cool.
Listen, I've got a
Johnson
request.
Space Center.
Can't get it through.
I just
go ahead.
ordered.
Say anything on
I
that?
have a request. I got a quick request. Anybody who's done in the news this last year, what I'd like you to do is I want you to contribute to the in the news for this last year, this year. And I'd like you to send me what you felt was the most important news item in astronomy this last year. Anybody can do that. If you can send that to me, I can put together that thing, because I haven't been doing the in the news myself, so I don't have that data. So if there's anybody that's given in the news, just send me a note about what you think, even if you haven't done it, was the most important item of last year, so I can put that presentation together for everybody.
Ken,
That's all.
you
Come up with
say
something.
the most important
Pass it.
item. Do you mean, Ken, do you mean most important item in
What happened?
the
What
news
happened?
on television?
What happened this last year? Like, for instance, the lunar eclipse would be one, okay, that we had. That one that was very, very long, that would be one that you would be. When one of our satellites went by something, when it picked up and shooting at the asteroid, would be things like that. Anything that you heard in
Ingenuity
the
lifting
last
off.
year, anything you heard in the last year that you feel is a very important find in astronomy would be great for me. And I can research it. I just would like to get from everybody an email that simply says to me, this is what I think was the highlight astronomy wise over the last year. And then I could put it together.
What's your
That's all.
email, Kenneth?
My email is SYZYGIEKB.
G as
Yeah, it's syzygy. SYZYGIE at gmail.com.
Do
and
not use the AOL account, or Ken will
Do
hunt you
not use my
down
AOL
personally.
account. Use again SYZYGIEKB at gmail.com. Just send it to me and I'll put
I have to thank you guys. I just ordered that XYG, so I'm very excited about it.
this is SY. Yeah, well,
Okay, Ken,
syzygy
once more. SYZYG.
No. S like Sam, Y like yellow, Z like zebra, Y like yellow, G like George, I like India, A like alpha, excuse me, E, I'm sorry, not E like echo again, KB, my initials, at gmail.com. SYZY GIE KB at gmail.com. And syzygy, by the way, that is spelled SYZYGY, is when three objects in space line up. And that's like an eclipse. You don't use the Y, use an IE instead of the Y as those last letters before the KB.
Yeah.
SYZYGIE KB at gmail.com. And the reason I use GIE is because I couldn't get the Y.
Oh.
I couldn't get.
So
But
here's my little
anything
thing.
you say, okay?
Is conjoined twins essentially.
That's I'll have to tell.
The Pluto and Charon.
Yes.
Oh, those are nice.
And they're
I like
magnetic.
those.
I just found out they're magnetic. It's like, what's sticking? They're stuck together there.
Oh, that's cool.
And we got a Jupiter. And there was a whole solar system, every planet,
really
and
great.
comets and stuff, and asteroids and stuff. And we just thought they were kind of cute. They were all jumbled together, so we lined them up in order and took some photos. And I said, you know what, I need to buy this.
I think that's fabulous. It really is. That's super.
Good.
Really super. Sharon, yes.
A good time.
By the way, isn't it nice that Pluto has an atmosphere?
Yes, it is.
Isn't that cool?
So
I
when
think
you're there, you can breathe a little bit in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very
Two
You'll
or
be able
three
to
breaths
feel,
before you freeze.
you'll be able to
before you
feel the
freeze.
temperature a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but interesting thing about that is it's active in the center. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me. There's a lot of things that are amazing, I guess, huh? Did you get any more pictures of Comet Leonard, Adrian?
I didn't. That
There's
was
all the
that
planets
picture you
there.
saw where I put Comet Leonard should have been here. That was my
Should have
shot
been.
at it. I'm pretty sure I've blown it for 2021 Comet Leonard. I might try if I get up in the morning, go to Lake Hudson's my only shot. I
Yep.
might do that. I'm actually gonna step away. I may go, or I may just say Damian Peach wins again. That might be my answer, because a few of the guys, the top level guys, have all shot at it, and they have it going by M3. And there are some nice shots of it, but I think it's going to be receding from this point.
Facebook this week I put on the Small Magellanic Cloud and some of the interesting things about that. That's a very interesting galaxy.
Yeah,
it actually was a spiral, and it got blown out of spiral because of its proximity to the Milky Way.
Yeah,
and that's theory. And the Large Magellanic Cloud. But what's very interesting about the picture I posted, it also has a picture of the 47 Tucani, which is a very, very nice cluster.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of 47 Tucani.
Very,
Dale is showing on his screen.
That's the Milky Way. I can send it to you, but that's just a quick.
Okay, that's yeah, your Milky Way image has more stars and a little more detail than mine did.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, that when it's Bortle 1 dark, even your iPhone could get.
I think that helped.
Milky Way light. Yeah, it's got to be Bortle. I think I've tried it at like Lake Hudson and got nothing with the nebulosity in it. That's that's pretty good, Ken. I think you might want a picture. You might want that one.
I'd like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, Ken and the Pleiades. The Pleiades are Ken's spirit animal.
And that's just handheld outside in the dark.
Yeah, you just
I think
hold it up
the
there.
iPhone goes 10 seconds and it reads that and then it
Well,
processes.
you know,
it does a lot of processing.
Anybody know the Japanese word for Pleiades?
Subaru.
Oh, good for you! Yay! All right.
Yep.
Good job.
Yeah, every Subaru you see an image of the Pleiades on the front. That's part of their grill.
It only shows 6, and it should show 7. It's okay.
Right.
Yeah, they ran into a production problem, I guess.
But I don't think they actually. If you take a look at a telescope, you're seeing a hell of a lot more than 6.
Yeah,
you're seeing
106.
Yeah, right.
Then you take an image of it, and you see about 206 in that
That's
area.
right. And the interesting thing is, I will mention to people that I park next to, and I see a Subaru. I said, "Do you know what that sign is, that is in the back?" And nobody knows. Nobody knows what that is. That it's for Pleiades.
Yeah, that's part of why we do what we do.
The Subaru Observatory in Mauna Kea.
Yeah.
Is they mentioned that when we visited.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we visited the Keck, but they mentioned the other ones there. And
the most spectacular thing I ever saw in a telescope that shocked me the most was Omega Centauri when I went south. And I looked at Omega Centauri in a tiny 3-inch, and it just busted your eye out. It was so spectacular. It just is amazing. How many of you actually seen through a telescope Omega Centauri? There you go.
That's on the wish list. Bill Beer shared his image of it from the Texas Star Party.
Yeah, I saw it at the Texas Star Party back in 1986.
What's the
to see it, Ted?
The first time I saw it was in South Africa. I went down to South Africa.
In order to see Omega Centauri, Laura, you need to be in Texas or further south, and
you got to be below
sometime in
38
April.
degrees.
Yep.
38 degrees latitude or below. You'll be able to pick it.
Then you'll see it. And I think you see it in April because it comes around that time, our springtime. It gets low enough on the northern hemisphere horizon to see in the southern states.
You can see it in Hawaii as well. You can because Hawaii's a little.
Well, Florida, I hear you can see the Southern Cross in the Keys or somewhere.
Yes, you can.
That might be, if I never do get to visit my friends in Argentina, then that's where I'm going to go.
Yep.
Just to see it. I owe David my own image of the Southern Cross.
I've been to the Southern Hemisphere a number of times, and
I was so busy with that stuff for the bad conditions, I just didn't look up much, and I'm just.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm curious
Crux
about
is
that.
Crux is very, very cool, but the one that's really cool is Beta Crux, which is what's the name of it? I can't remember the name of it.
I've seen images of it enough.
When I retire, I want to spend months and months down there and take my telescope equipment. There's so many things
You'll never
that I've never seen.
I'd go to any of these places if everything opened up. I'd go to Australia. I'd go to New Zealand. I'd visit my friends in Argentina. The Argentina is a definite possibility. The other two, there is someone from New Zealand that I made contact with from one of the Explore Scientific Star Parties. So I could figure out an in there once the COVID thing ends. But
Ted.
I don't know about Australia unless I profess to Jason Belmonte that I'm a bowler. Maybe he'll.
Hey, Siri.
Beta Cruz's actual name is Mimosa, Mimosa. That's the one. Very, very pretty. It's a binary star too. It's very cool.
Hey, Siri.
I'm trying to look up. We were in Arizona in September, the end of September, and I brought my telescope to Arizona for some of the dark skies out there. And there was a binary star that was low on the horizon that was just phenomenal. I mean, it was like red and green.
That's what you saw.
Yeah,
I think you saw them.
I want to say it began with a C, but now I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
I can find it.
Beta Cruz is farther north than Alpha Cruz. Okay, so you see it near the top, and it's a bluish type star. Okay, kind of bluish. Yeah,
but
very
it was
pretty.
very cool.
Capturing that. All right, everybody. Thank you for an excellent virtual banquet. And like I said, I posted, if you want a copy of that presentation, you can shoot me an email. You can just shoot it at the treasurer@warrenastro.org, and it'll get routed to my home email address. And I'll be happy to send you a link to the cloud site. I just put it up on Google. You can watch it from there. It'll download and you'll watch it. I've watched it on smartphone to make sure it worked. So
that was
thank
too
you all.
complicated for me. How do I watch it?
Yeah, you follow the link and then you click on it and it'll start playing.
Back up. What do I start with?
So the link that I posted in chat, and I'll post it one more time for everyone. Where'd it go? Here it is. Let me copy that link. I'm gonna post it in chat.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Hey, very, very happy holidays, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you. Night.
Yep. Follow that link and then click on the it'll be you can see like a slideshow. You click on that, it'll start playing.
Oh wow, thank you. Appreciate it.
Good night, everyone.
Yep. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Take care.
Safe travels home.
Okay.
Or upstairs.
ESAEUSTADJRWM56. All right. Bye.
Hey, Steve. We need your address so we can get your prize to you. You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, I was just looking at that. So you want me to email it or just put it in the chat window here?
You can just send me an email. Yeah. Either way.
Email.
Okay. Angela, same with you.
What email address do I send it to?
You can send it to publications@warrenastro.org. That'll work.
All right. I will get it out to you in a couple minutes here.
Okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. Happy holidays, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, happy holidays.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Angela, are you there?